Hi, I'm Pav.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to the Top 10 of Anything podcast.
Let's start the countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
British comedy is well loved and renowned throughout the world. The absurdity of Python, the uncomfortableness of Brent, and the feck arse girls of Father Ted. Some moments, though, can be legendary, and we're about to go through our top 10s. First, here's Neil with 10 UK comedy facts.
Thank you very much, Pav. So, I was searching away to see what I could find, and I found that last year, Chalkland Time Out magazine ran a poll in the UK to find out the top 10 UK comedy moments. So let's see how the voting turned out and see whether we got any duplicates. I'm sure we might. At number 10, we had Father Ted and the Cows and Perspective scene. 12% voted for that.
Chaos Theory.
At number 9, we have Blackadder, Lord Flashheart's entrance. 14% of the votes.
Lil, I've pierced my foot on a spike.
8, Adfab, falling out of the cab. Got 15% of the votes.
Hands up, who likes me?
7, The Office, David Brent's dancing. Got 17% of the votes.
He's brought them and he's dropped them.
Number 6 is Gavin and Stacey's and Smith's Curry Order at 18% of the votes.
Oh, he'll be back, like the shit Terminator.
Number 5 is The Inbetweeners and Car Friend. Got 19% of the votes.
I hear you're a racist now, father.
At number 4, Faulty Towers and Basil smashes his car. At number 3, Dad's Army, Don't Tell Him Pike. We've got 42% of the votes.
Right. Now brace yourself, Rodney.
At number 2, Vicar of Dibley, Geraldine falls into the puddle. 45% of the votes. And at number 1 is Only Fools and Horses, and Del Boy falls through the bar with 67% of the votes.
Yes, Rodney, but you never said wobble.
There we go. Just a plethora of fantastic comedy moments already. Already. Now, we are here. We've already spoken turning on the machines. Goodness me. We are here. Hat-trick hero Rick, top head Rick, is with us. Hello, Rick.
Hey, how you doing?
We're doing well.
Very well.
Now, this was actually your idea, this top 10, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a weird one. I couldn't believe it hadn't been done before. But then again, you know, all the good ones, you think, oh, we should do that. They just sort of come to you, don't they? But yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. A hard one again, wasn't it, to do?
Well, I was going to say to you, Rick, how hard did you find doing your top 10?
I found it really hard. Because I think comedy is such a personal thing to you anyway. And then obviously there's lots of famous moments, and you think, should I put that in because that's so famous that maybe it's sort of, do you know what I mean? It's just accepted that it's there. So it was a combination of searching for personal things and also what really made me laugh, and also obviously the classic ones as well. So yeah, it was really, really difficult actually.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've only got say one from a specific sitcom. I mean, Only Fools and Horses, you could have had easily half a dozen top moments. So I've picked out my favorite moment for each one, so I haven't got the same sitcoms in. Have you guys done the same, Rick? Have you done the same, or have you got
I've tried to do the same, to be honest. Right. I think I've got maybe 2 from the same sitcom, but okay. there's a reason why. But yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay. And Neil?
No, all mine are different. I did originally. I suddenly looked down last week or whenever it was and saw that. I thought, oh, hello, I've got 2 from the same sitcom, and I did purposely change it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's going to be a lot of honourable mentions, I think. I could have chosen this and this and this, but I went for this.
Yeah, I noticed when we got some honourable mentions come through, there was a couple that I thought, oh shit, I should have put that one in.
No,
but then the trouble is, then you're forever tinkering around and you'll never get it done. So,
yep. Okay,
then Rick, fire away with your number 10.
Right. Okay, my number 10. And again, could have gone with a few from this one, but it's in between. It was mentioned in the thing we've just played. So the Inbetweeners. Ooh, friend. which I just think is just so. I almost put in the one where Jay suggests to go and drive around the estate. She was going like truck drive around the estate, and like, oh, okay, and it just cuts to him in the car, and it's that song going, "Whoa, bitch, get out the way," and they're going about 2 miles an hour, which I just think is brilliant. But this one, I think it's in there because I love the fact that the roles are reversed, and Jay's always the one that's taking the piss and having a go, and he just can't take it when they do it back to him, and he just completely loses it at the end of it and starts jumping on the guy's car, going, "Oh, friend!" Every single time I've ever said anything slightly embarrassing about someone I might know, anybody that has watched In Between Us says, "Oh, friend," here. So it's one of those moments that makes me laugh all the time.
It's become a bit of modern culture, hasn't it? The old friend. Yeah, you hear it a lot said. Yeah.
But do you find that with a lot of? I mean, I know I'm a different generation probably, but I'll still call people plonker. And it's just it becomes part of the lexicon, and of what you normally say as a normal thing, but it's from a TV show or a comedy show. It's crazy how that seeps into like normal everyday conversation.
Yeah, well, my grandpa used to call me stupid boy out of Dad's Ramen.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right.
See, I've only ever watched The In-Betweeners once. I've only ever watched the series once. Now, so what year was that? Are we talking about 10 years ago? Probably a bit longer.
2006.
Really? Was that far back?
7, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether it's the sort of thing that will that hold up. I mean, I suppose it's just.
Well, I think it might, because it seems to be replayed a lot on like E4 and everything. They have whole nights of the In-Betweeners.
Oh, do they?
I mean, I was personally think the first 2 series were fantastic. The third series was just they tried to drag too much out of it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think for me it was I looked at that, and that was the first series that was like, that's how me and my friends talked to each other and messed around, and the stupid thing we said, that's exactly what it was like. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's sort of just that's the problem with comedy as well. Sometimes it just jumps the shark all of a sudden, and you go, "Oh, okay, yeah."
I think pretty much every successful comedy series has that. When they start going to series 3, series 4, series 5, it's almost like they like getting the paycheck, and it dilutes it a little bit.
Yep, absolutely.
Go on then, Neil. You're number 10.
So this sitcom wasn't overly loved by everybody, but I loved it. It's Derek. You loved it as well, Pav.
I did.
But it's season 1, episode 4. It's when they go to the beach and Kev writes "twat" on the crab. I don't know why, but I roared with laughter, and it still makes me laugh now. I mean, I think Kev was one of probably the best characters in the show. And he likewise when he's in Afterlife. And
but it is the same character. That's the trouble.
Yeah. He plays the same character all the time, but he does it so well, doesn't he? And then obviously Joe Wilkinson being his brother or whatever it was in Derek. But yeah, that bit at the beach, honestly, I roared. I don't know why. It really found my funny bone, and it still does to this day. So much so that I went down to Western and wrote "twat" on every crab I could find. No, I didn't.
You really should be resting your leg, Neil.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be running around after crabs on Western Beach. I mean, I think it's with me with Derek, I've always found it like more of an emotional thing than laugh out loud funny. I found it like
it is. So but there are some very funny moments.
Oh yeah. So you're a fan of that, Rick? Do you like Derek?
Do you know what? I think I've seen it once all the way through. It was quite a while ago, and I did enjoy it when I watched it, but I've never revisited it, so I need to probably go back and revisit it. But no, yeah, I think he's really funny in it as well, and it is one of those ones with heartfelt moments. It's very Ricky Gervais, isn't it? Where he try and mix the two together, which is kind of a theme of comedy anyway. It's the tragedy and comedy sort of borderline, isn't it? You know.
But the other moment I nearly put instead was when he was eating the pickled onions.
Yes.
Just the way he ate those pickled onions in his face was just perfect, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Okay, my number 10. Matt Berry is one of my heroes, not just comedy, but just in general. And I've gone for the IT crowd, and it's when he's Douglas Renham and his electric sex pants. So he has these pants that give him a shock into his genitals whenever he gets aroused. And I think he's just looking at a sailing magazine or something, and it just keeps going, pss, pss, damn these electric sex pants, in his fantastic voice. I mean, IT Crowd is great when Chris Morris was in it in the first season. So when he left, to get someone like Matt Berry to sort of take over that role, such as his son, was an absolute masterstroke because he just is. It's just the voice. His voice is just fantastic. So anything with Matt Berry in it. Well, I say that I still haven't watched. What they do in the shadows? I still haven't watched.
Oh, Bav.
I know, it's crazy.
That is just brilliant.
I need to watch it because I love the movie. Great. The movie was fantastic, but
the series is just as good.
Is it?
It's very good. Yeah. And also Matt Berry. Did you see that thing that was going around with the lone wolf? Did you see that?
The Lone Wolf.
Oh, if you haven't seen that, then and you like Matt Berry, then watch it because it's a fake documentary that he's done about the Lone Wolf, and it's just his voiceover going, "Here we see the wolf. It's stalking prey," and it just goes absolutely ridiculous. So you need to check that out. That almost made it on my list.
I've not even heard of that.
Please do. If you love it, you will love it. Honestly, if you love it.
We'll add that to the list then. Go on then, Rick. Your number 9.
Okay, so my number 9 is it's a bit of an older one, but again, it's a bit quirky. It's Black Books, and it's the episode with the cleaner when the cleaner comes round. And I don't know what it is about Black Books. I really love Dylan Moran anyway. I think he just plays this sort of crazy, really angry character all the time. And in this one, it's just really funny because it's basically the place that he lives is a complete tip. He's a complete slob. And they get this cleaner round, and before they get him round, Manny, who's played by Bill Bailey, I think, turns around and he's like, this is ridiculous. It's like, this morning I ate scrambled eggs with the comb from a shoe. No, this place is fine. It doesn't need cleaning. And then he goes to take a sip of his drink, and it's on a table, and the entire table comes up. And he puts down, he goes, fine, there's no problem. And then the cleaner comes around, and he's like going, oh, it's really dirty. He's wearing this mint green suit. And then he just like puts his finger across the air and shows it him, and it's just filled with like dust and crap. It's completely stupid. But I just think the whole way through, I'm just chuckling away at myself, and it's really, really well written. So I just love it. It's really funny.
I have to admit, I've never watched a single second of Black Books.
Oh, you'd love it.
It's the same writers as Father Ted, pal.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. What's his name? Linehan, isn't it?
Graham Linehan.
Graham Linehan. Yeah.
It's him. Well, Graham Linehan did IT Crowd as well.
IT Crowd as well. Yeah.
Honestly, it's so funny. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen it. But it's what's her name? The shop next door. She's really funny in it as well.
What's her name?
She's in Friday Night Dinner, isn't she?
Tasman Greg.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
I'll have to add that onto the ever-growing list.
It's on. You better watch it. It's on the 4 catch-up.
Is it?
Every episode on there. You'll love it.
Yeah, and it doesn't outstay its welcome as a series either. I think it has like two series or something.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Was it 3? Right. I'm actually looking at it on my shelf. It's 3.
And it is so funny, and they're strong 3 series. They're not. Yeah. They don't dip, and good 25 minutes or whatever it is.
Okay. We'll try that one as well. Excellent one. Go on then, Neil, number 9.
So this is, I would love to watch this again. I haven't seen it for a little while, but always remember this. But it's Catterick with Vic and Bob.
Oh.
But it's the Matt Lucas entrance. Kinky Boots.
Is that the Kinky Boots?
Honestly, I roar, and his little walk, how he does that with those little shoes. It's
the
just
bloopers on this is fantastic when he's trying to do it. It is just crazy.
And I think it was a great series. I always think Vic and Bob should have been allowed to do more sort of sitcoms, left to their own devices to do sitcoms.
Yes,
because that was just pure genius. But that walk, honestly, every time it happened, it was hilarious, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yeah.
You saying that now has made me realise I've got no House of Fools in my top 10, which there's a couple of moments. I don't know if you've ever seen that, Rick. Do you ever watch House of Fools? Vic and Bob. It was done in front of a studio audience, a bit like Mrs. Brown's Boys, which we should never mention Mrs. Brown's Boys. But it was totally Vic and Bob, and it was absolutely ridiculous in certain bits. Matt Berry again was in it.
Yeah, it was in it. Yeah.
Was fantastic in it. Oh yeah, I can't believe I haven't put any of that on there. But that's a great one.
Yeah, I need to check that out because I do remember Mortimer and Whitehouse when they had that series where it was before a studio audience, or where there was loads of skits. What was it called now? I can't remember what it was called, but they had the Mickey take of MasterChef on it.
That was the smell of Reeves and Mortimer.
He's flying around.
That's right. Yeah, the
really
smell of Reeves and Mortimer.
Bulbous head.
That's right. Yeah. And then he floated from one part of the studio to another, didn't he?
Just started floating everywhere. Yeah. So I do love them too. Actually, I need to watch them. I need to watch
Yeah.
those too.
Yeah, I
actually.
think I think well, it was on Netflix for sure because that's where I rewatched them. But I think it might still be on there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll check it
Well,
out.
yeah. Oh my God, great stuff. My number 9 is Matt Berry again, and it's the Toast of London. And it's in the studio trying to record Yes. And just getting the whole bit and our friend of the show, Tim Downey, is there behind the glass with Clem Fandango, and he said, "Oh, can you try and do it without the script?" Okay, I'll do it without the script, and he gives it another look. Yes, and he just keeps doing it until he's crying, and then Clem Fandango just says, "Could you maybe try a no?" And then that's when it cuts. But it's just so good. So good.
No, I actually love that. It's the absurdity because I'm in advertising and I've done bits like that, and it is as ridiculous as that is. It's
Are you Clem Fandango?
Right? I am Clem
Fandango. Oh my God! Real life Clem Fandango.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I'm not Clem Fandango, but yes. And it is that ridiculous sometimes. You just go, oh God, I want this to end now. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God! So you're normally the person on the other side of the glass telling the people how to read the copy and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and some people are really nice, like and other people perhaps aren't as nice. But
are these famous people that you're talking?
Yeah. Most people are really lovely, but then
so who's the people that are really lovely?
Who's the girl out of Spaced? Julia? Is it Julia?
Julia. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Stevens, not
Julia Stevens. Is that right? Yeah. I think it. I
remember now.
I think that's her name. She's really.
Yeah, I know
really
who you mean. She was in. She's been in loads of stuff, hasn't she? She was in Shaun of the Dead as well. What's her name?
Yes. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
she was
she's
that cameo where
funny.
she runs past. Yeah.
And the royal family, wasn't she?
Yeah.
There's a few that are really nice.
Jessica
Jessica Stevenson.
Yeah. I'm sure loads of people listening will be screaming at us.
Yes.
But yeah, there's a few. I can't really mention who's not very nice, but there are a few who's not very nice.
I can imagine.
I will tell you my ulterior motive. I thought I'll lure him in with asking who the nice ones were, and then hit you with who's the bad ones, just thinking that you might roll them off your tongue. But we totally understand. Yeah. Okay, so that was my number 9. So on to you, Rick, for your number 8, please.
Okay, well we've sort of touched on it, but it's Father Ted at number 8, and there's again I could probably reel off many different ones. There's one with Speed 2, where in the milk float is just brilliant. But the one that makes me laugh all the time, and I don't know why it just tickles me, just like you were saying before, Neil. It tickles my funny bone. Is the one where they go on a holiday and Father Jack just gets loose and he goes and gets some glasses, and then the crow steals the glasses and he's blind and he can't see what he's doing. And he runs down the street and he sees this poster and it just says, it's all blurred. He just goes, drink. And he's like, yeah. So he goes in and it's an AA meeting and they're all talking about their problems and he can't understand what's going on, and he leaves. And then he goes down the street, goes in the pub and is like, drink. And then the guy from the AA meeting sees him, runs in and just stops him just short of drinking. He goes, no, Father, you can't. I'm not going to let, and just cuts to an ambulance. It just goes, it's just like, it just makes me laugh. It's just the way it just abruptly cuts, and it's just so funny. And I mean, it's just a personal thing about, I mean, like I say, I could reel off so many different moments, but that one always gets me. It's
one of the greatest sitcoms ever written, I think.
It really is.
Yeah, really I think for pound, I can't think of a bad Father Ted episode.
There is.
And I know well, they did 3 series, didn't they, in a Christmas special, I think.
Yeah.
So they were one of those things where it was obviously cut short because Father Ted unfortunately passed away. But
yeah,
there's so many, isn't there? And classic ones like being lost in the lingerie department.
I was literally going to say, yeah, that's so funny.
Pure geniusly written, isn't it?
I think this. I mean, although I have got a Father Ted one in my top 10, but you're saying about the Speed 2, it's like when. I love Dougal because he's just so innocent, and every time he goes to these women, because it was what was his name, Pat Riley, wasn't it? It was the
no, Pat Mustard.
Pat Mustard, that's right. And all the women are there with their tops off, and he just 1 pint of milk, one pint of milk, and then he's led in bed at the end, and he goes, "Those women were in the nip." It's just so good. Oh, bless
brilliant.
It makes me want to watch that again. I got to start watching Father Ted from the start.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Go on then, Neil. You're number 8.
So I'm a big fan of the League of Gentlemen. I know it divides people, but I think it was pure genius. But it's the first series. It's when the police arrive at the local store with Tubbs and Edward. trying to find the hitchhiker, which they had burnt previously. And as soon as the police speaks to Tubbs, she just turns to him and goes, "We didn't burn him." It's just the way she delivers it. It's pure genius and funny. And I think those guys are comedy legends now. Because are you a fan of Inside Number 9? You ever watched
I've seen bits of it. Yeah. My mate, funny enough, is absolutely massively into it. She says it's genius.
It is absolutely genius because you can have one episode that can make you, in one moment, make you laugh, and then really give you the chills and creep you out and scare you at the next moment. Yeah. But yeah, they are so funny, and I would recommend Inside Number 9. Watch it from the beginning and go all the way through because I think every episode is a joy.
Oh, great! Yeah.
But it's not as laugh out funny as League of Gentlemen, which was purposely in your face comedy. But yeah, Tubbs and Edward, fantastic. But yeah, and the way she counts in the same episode, 1, 2, 12 teeth.
There is something a little bit unhinged about them, though, isn't there? There definitely is. I've never really sat down and I've got so much TV I need to watch.
No,
I really do. I need that chip in my head. I genuinely need that chip in my head.
And I've seen them live twice do League of Gentlemen, and it works so well how they do it. I mean, they do the first act in just as the radio show. It started in their tuxes, and then the second act it moves into, and Royston Vasey comes down on the stage, and then every character comes out to greet you, and it's brilliant.
That's great. It's like I think it was a bit too unhinged for me when I was that age when it came out. I couldn't appreciate because I was watching, the bit where the guy's cycling down the street and then the dog's just mangled behind it in the opening. But even that, I was going, "Oh, I'm not sure this is for me. I'm too young for this."
What's his name? Chinnery, the vet.
What was the thing that went? Hello, Dave.
Oh, that's the circus master, the ringmaster.
Because that was just like really scary, and I thought,
I got your wife now, Dave.
It's just horrible.
But it is quite funny when you get through that. And
I think I need to reprise it now. Now I can sort of get my head around it way more.
Very funny.
Yeah. Okay, my number 8, classic for someone of mine and Neil's age. Rick, you're a little bit younger than we are. But it's the young ones, and we're going for the University Challenge.
That's my number 4.
Is that your number 4?
With Bambi?
Yeah, it's just, apart from the fact that you've got people like Stephen Fry, Hugh Laurie, Emma Thompson at the start of their careers, as the toffs, but just the whole bit of it is just fantastic. With who did the smelliest bottom burp. And just who is it? Was it Vivian playing with the microphone, and it buzzes on him, and he's just going what? Because he's just messing about with the microphone. But
it starts really well, that whole section on the train, doesn't it? Where they're learning. It sort of sets it up there, but straight into the University Challenge.
Yeah, no, I don't know, because obviously, I mean, you are a bit younger than us, Rick. So the young ones, where does that stand in? I mean, you've obviously watched it, I would assume.
I've watched it. I think it's. Do you know what it is? I think because that it was so groundbreaking when it came out. A lot of things that followed on from it are as irreverent as that, but that started it. So for sort of, I mean, I'm 40 now. So for people who are a little bit younger, there's no incentive to see it because there's crazy stuff on at the moment, but that started it all. So I've seen them. I've seen all of them. Like my dad and my older brother as well are just like, they raved about them. They said they were hilarious. And I've seen the University Challenge episode, and I've seen all of that, and I just think they're absolutely brilliant. So they I think it's just a little bit just before my time, but I think if I was a bit older when I saw them, they'd be right in there.
Yeah. So I mean, I still watch them, but it takes me back to that time. So whereas I don't know, for somebody watching it with fresh eyes now, whether it would just look too dated.
Maybe, but I don't know actually. I think they were just it's such a trailblazing series that it just spawns so many ones like it. There's almost no need to go back to it now, which is a shame actually, because people should.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the social commentary is probably dated a bit, hasn't it? That's all probably.
That's true,
but some of it's relevant today. But the giant eclair.
The giant eclair.
I mean, it was so funny, and then all of a sudden you'd have the Monty Python surrealism bit just whacking in.
And you know what? We were saying earlier on about when you say things in normal everyday life. If I ever buy a raffle ticket, now you won't probably have seen this episode, Rick, but I always look at the ticket and go, oh, this Norman Tebbit better be good.
Yeah.
Now, you remember that episode? There's an episode where they're selling tickets to. Oh, Rick's trying to sell tickets to make £15,000 or something. He's selling little raffle tickets, and then I always say it whenever I get a raffle ticket. Well, this.
No, you do though, but it does. It enters into your lexicon because you watch it so much. Do you know what I mean? Me and my brother quote loads of things to each other. People listen to us. What the hell are you talking about? You know?
Exactly. But other people, and if you know, kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Right then, Rick, your number 7, please.
Okay, so my number 7 is it's The Office. And it's I mean, there's loads of things you can take from it. Obviously, we had the dancing thing in the countdown before. Loads of classic moments, but the one again, and it's a personal thing that tickles me, and I think it's so well done, is when they're in that nightclub. I can't remember what the nightclub's called now, but they're all celebrating. They're going out in a nightclub, and you see Gareth talking to this woman, and he's like, "Yeah, how you doing? Getting on?" Like all this stuff, and then this guy's just staring at him, and then he's like, "What are you looking at?" He's like, "Oh, I'm a husband." He goes, "Oh, no, I'm not into that," and you totally forget about it. And then right at the end of the episode, there's just a switch in the focus of the camera, and he's got a bike helmet on the bike with both of them going off into the night, and you think he's just gone home with them. And it's just his face of like, and as he goes away in the helmet, it's just so well done, and it's just perfect. I think it's because
he goes through the camera, doesn't he? It doesn't like the camera doesn't pick him up. It's just like you just notice it. It always reminds me of Wallace and Gromit as well. Whenever I see him, it just looks like Wallace and Gromit.
But it's just the subtlety of it is so brilliant, and it's his character to a T, and the fact that they leave it for so long before picking up the gag at the end is just brilliant. I love it. Yeah.
That is a great one. That is a great one. Yeah, The Office just missed my top 10, I must admit, but that is a great one. Go on then, Neil. You're number 7.
So it's Fawlty Towers, but it is Basil loses it when he starts goose stepping up and down. Now I find that so funny in the way, and obviously it's John Cleese doing the master of his silly walks. Now there is a little caveat to this in how I find it so funny still to this day. Is one time we put it on, and I think when it was on a re-showing on BBC Two, I was sat with my brother and my dad, and that episode was on. But when it came to the goose step, for some reason, it sped up.
Oh,
bizarrely, it was really quick, which then gave it a whole new realm of hilariousness to me. But
was that the first time you watched it? It did that, or was it?
No. It was. I'd seen it many times before, but it was just this one time. We all settled down. My brother came over. He wasn't even living at home back then, so this shows that it's a while ago. But we were just watching it, and that bit. I've never stopped laughing in my life. I just wish we had the Sky button of rewind and it would have happened again. Because I would have been there all night doing it. But but that still makes me laugh even when I see it to this day. I mean, it's probably politically not correct to like
probably
it.
very politically incorrect now.
But it's not about what the substance is about. Basil Fawlty and what he's doing. That's all I say.
Yeah, and almost I suppose you're laughing at the character being like that anyway. You're laughing at him. You're not laughing with him.
No. Yeah. I mean, that is
but
the
it's
whole
still
point.
very funny.
Yeah, very.
And I'm not looking forward to this new series. Can I just put that out there?
No, I'm not.
That's a mistake, I think.
Very much. I think if ever there's a cash grab, I think that's it. It's just why so long? Why is it taking him so long? It's probably all the divorces he's had, probably. But he's got to pay for it somehow. Okay, my number 7. Now this is something that could very, very closely just could have been an outtake, because they are almost laughing in this. Now, I'm a massive fan of Some Mothers Do Have 'Em, and there's a couple of scenes that you could have had. But there's one scene in Series 3, I think it was, and I can't remember, what's the name of the guy that played Victor Mildrew? What was his name?
Richard Wilson.
Richard Wilson. Betty and Frank have just moved house, but all of their stuff has been damaged, so they got the insurance man to come over to have a look, to price everything up, and it's Richard Wilson. So Betty and Frank are sat on the sofa, and Richard Wilson sits next to him, and as they're talking, he slowly goes down, and you can see that Michael Crawford and Richard Wilson are trying not to laugh the hardest they can to try not to laugh. Even Michelle Detrice is trying, and I piss myself every time I see this. And it's not a particularly funny episode. That series isn't particularly fun. I think Michael Crawford got a little bit too much control. It didn't seem to have the same sort of innocence as the earlier series. But that one moment, I watch it so many times, and you can see they must have been very close to go, cut, let's do it again. But it's one of those things, or one of those little things like that. It's a natural movement that's just so funny that they could only just keep it together. But yeah, that's a classic one. I don't know if again, are you a fan of Some Others Do Have Them, Rick? That's even earlier.
I mean, it is very early, but again, I think I was brought up. My parents were big fans of comedy, so yeah, Some Others Do Have Them. Again, Dad's Army and all that as well. On the buses, there was loads of these things flying around. But so I do remember that. Actually, I do remember. It's either that's the one that sort of talks like that, doesn't he? Sort of has a weird.
Yes, right.
Right? Yeah.
That was uncanny. That was almost like Frank Spencer was here. You just needed a
beret. I should just retire now.
Go on tour. Go on, Britain's Got Talent with your impressions.
You should.
You did a good. Matt Berry before though, so
yeah.
I mean, let's
it was one word, but still,
yes.
But no, yeah, I've seen it a few times, and it is good. Yeah.
Oh, good. Right then. Okay, Rick, your number 6, then, please.
Okay, my number 6 is Blackadder, and it's it's Edmund Blackadder taking the piss out of Dr. Johnson because his diary he just hates him and he thinks the diary is useless. And it's just some of the words he comes out with that are totally made up that makes Dr. Johnson go, "Oh shit, I haven't got that in the diary. Oh shit." And even the bit where he's finished it and he goes, "Oh well, please extend to him my warmest contrafibularities." And he's like, "What? Like contrafibularities? Yeah, they're a common word around my way." And then the bit where he's like, "God," he's really upset and he goes, "Oh dear, I'm a speptic, phlegmatic, even compunctious to accord you such pericombobulation." And he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he's just so it's just toying with him and and it's Rowan Atkinson just being so. And even when he's saying it, you can see he's smiling to himself because he's like, "I'm just going to say a complete load of bollocks here, and he won't understand what the hell I'm talking about." And yeah, I just think it's great. It really gets me every time.
Yeah, and then at the end of the episode, isn't it Baldrick that says sausage?
Yeah,
sausage. Yes, that wasn't in the dictionary either.
Yeah.
Very good. Just to let everybody know, obviously, all of our top heads on Patreon, I'll put all of these moments in the video playlist, so you can watch them to your heart's delight. So you'll be able to see Dr. Johnson's diary, and you'll be able to see Frank Spencer, Q Rick.
Oh,
I like it. It worked quite well.
And Matt Berry. Yes, there you go. Okay, Neil, you're number 6. We've got the clip for the promo now. So that's perfect.
Well, for my number 6, all I'll say is I've got cheese.
Okay, that is my number 4. 2. That's my number 2.
Your number cheese.
Yeah.
Your number cheese.
Number cheese.
No, you're number 2. Right. Okay.
Yeah, that is just a genius bit of Alan Partridge there in one. When he reels off those TV shows, Monkey Tennis and everything like that. It's just pure genius. But also the other line, "Give me a second series, you shit." It is a joy. It is a joy. I know I've now met quite a few people that really don't like Alan Partridge. They find it too uncomfortable comedy. So,
oh wow.
But I never ever found that. I mean, me and Pav have always loved the awkward comedies,
Yes.
The overlong silences and things like that. But yeah, so yeah, this is younger generations. They're not finding it funny at all.
Oh no, it's that for me. I mean, it's a number 2 for a reason because I just like you. I think I'd struggle to think of many comedy situations that are better written with so much ingenious nonsense in them. Even the bit where he introduces his friend and he just goes, "This is my friend from," and he just goes,
Yeah.
He's such a twat. And then he orders the wine and he goes, "Oh no, can I just shock you? I like wine."
Yeah.
And then he chooses Blue Nun.
Blue Nun, and then demands to taste it.
Yeah. He gets back to the car. "I've been bad, Lynn. I've been bad. Quick drive."
Yeah. Oh,
he's got cock piss partridge written and put on the side of his car, isn't it?
I just think Alan Partridge has and loads of funny moments, and a lot of it's been copied now. Like the whole Dan in the car park. How many times have people do that now?
Yeah.
And that was the original and the best.
I can't believe I haven't got any Alan Partridge in my top 10. I know. I'm just looking at it. I can't believe I haven't got that. I mean, I've got Frank Spencer, cue Rick.
Oh,
worse. Okay, so that was a good one, Neil. Well done. My number 6 is look, we've had a podcast, 200 episodes on it on This Country. If you want to go, it's available on all podcast formats. WTF, This Country podcast, and I've gone for the finger up my arsehole, mate. Bit where Kerry has had a football injury and is being helped up by all the players, and as she's being helped up, she says that immortal line, I think you've got my finger up my arsehole, mate, or vicar, or mate, or whatever it was, but it's the vicar that is, and poor Shahidi, the look on his face when he realises that he might have done that. Oh, I'm sorry. And it's just it's a very, very quick line, but it's, for me, the moment of This Country. Again, could have had quite a few moments of that, but that, for me, is mine. Okay, we're halfway through, so it's time for this.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Yes, pop quiz, hot shot. Rick is new to this. So it's first one to 3, Rick. You can go first or second. What would you like to do?
I'll go. I don't mind. I mean, do you want to go first, Neil?
You choose. You're the guest. Whichever you're comfortable for. I don't. I don't mind at all.
I'll go first.
You're going to go first.
Why not?
Okay, then here we go. What was the name of the young ones' college when they took part in University Challenge?
Oh no, I kind of know this as well, and you'll be screaming at me in your head. Isn't it? Oh God, isn't it Scumbag University or something?
I'm going to give you that. It was Scumbag College. Well done.
Oh,
yeah.
One to Rick.
That one, that was complete thin air, I think. There we go.
Well done. No, that was good. Well done, Neil. What
Don't
kind
ask
of
me
salad...
who the world's stickiest bogey is.
What kind of salad did Basil Fawlty find difficult to make for an American guest?
Was it the Waldorf?
Waldorf salad, yes. One each. Rick, what was the name of the song Father Ted and Father Dougal entered the Eurovision Song Contest with?
It's My Lovely Horse.
It is My Lovely Horse. Well done. Neil. Name the 2 IT workers in the IT crowd.
I'm not going to know them. I can't remember them. It's been such a long time since I've seen the IT crowd. I wouldn't know.
No?
No.
Okay, well, Rick for the win.
Is it? So it's Roy and Moss.
Well done,
Roy
Rick.
and Moss for the win.
Wow.
A quick and cheeky 3-1 win there.
Yeah.
Well done. I'm just going to go through a couple more of these, see if you know any of them. Just shout them out if you know them. What is the name of Smithy and Nessa's son in Gavin and Stacey?
Neil.
It was Neil, yes.
I didn't know that.
That was weird then, because on the screen then, Rick, that looked like you looked up at Neil then when he said that. that was like Partridge Family or Celebrity Squares then. Just as he said that was amazing. What was the name of the school which was attended by Simon, Will, Jay, and Neil in the In-Betweeners?
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't know. Yeah.
It was Ridge Park Comprehensive.
Okay.
Oh, great.
In which BBC sitcom did the phrase "I don't believe it" become famous?
One foot in the grave.
One foot in the grave.
It was. In which show would you encounter Daffyd Thomas?
Daffyd Thomas.
Is that the Matt Lucas? What was that they did?
Oh.
I can't remember what they called their show because I never watched it. But was that the Only Gay in the Village bloke?
It
was.
God,
you're right. Little Britain then, yeah.
Little Britain.
Little
It was
Britain.
Little Britain, yes. And the last one, which English county is the Vicar of Dibley based?
I'd say Devon, but I don't know.
It's not Devon. Neil, do you want to have a guess?
Berkshire.
It wasn't. It was Oxfordshire.
Oh.
It was. But well done, Rick,
Yes,
for
well
winning
done, Rick.
there.
I mean, I think I was quite lucky because I didn't know any of those other questions. If you'd have asked me to do an impression of the guy from Some Mothers Do Heaven by this point,
Well, I mean that would have been the tie break if you'd have been 2-2.
Yeah.
But well done. Okay, back to the job in hand. So, Rick, your number 5, please.
Okay, my number 5 is it's Phoenix Nights. and it's basically Brian romancing Beverly. So he's obviously Brian Potter in a wheelchair. He runs over this girl's foot, and then they start sort of seeing each other, and it's honestly a little bit like asking Brian Potter to be romantic is a little bit like asking Cristiano Ronaldo to be modest. It just doesn't work. And it's just so funny all the way through. And there's two scenes here, but I'm going to cheat a little bit. But they're both, I couldn't separate them out. But when they're in the restaurant and they're talking to each other, and then they're having a nice sort of thing of, you taste this. Oh, you taste this. Great. And then the lady with the flowers comes over and says, oh, would you like a flower for the lady? And he just goes, fuck off. But keeps a complete straight face when he says it.
Yeah.
And then when the second bit is when he's taking her home and they're in the stair lift and they're going so slowly up the stairs. And he's going, oh, what I'm gonna do to you. Just you wait. Just you wait what I'm gonna do. So yeah, that just absolutely is brilliant. I think it's hilarious. And I could have chosen a few from
absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't say too much about it.
No, I got a funny feeling about that one. So, because I know that you like that moment, don't you, Neil?
I just find it so funny.
It's so funny, and honestly, even watching the series I think it's 2 seasons, and it's two series. Doesn't outstay its welcome.
No,
but the outtakes are almost as funny as watching the series.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's all the auditions at the end, which very nearly made my top 10. They're just as funny. The Nelly the elephant. It's the 2 old people ballroom dancing.
Yeah.
And it's that bit where he lowers it down and just goes, "Hey!" You can tell they're all properly laughing.
Yeah. And the one with the ping pong balls.
Oh yeah.
Joey had 4. We're going to Neil, your number 5.
So it's Blackadder, but it's Blackadder 2, and I will say Big Booze Up, which is beautifully performed and beautifully written. The explanation was Miriam Margolyes as his wicked aunt, wicked child. Yeah. But it's that bit when he comes in drunk, when the guy gate crashes in. I think it's Hugh Laurie, isn't it?
Yes, I think so.
Great booze up, and
with his comedy breasts on.
That's it. And the explanation that he comes out with about how he's got this Indian in the other room, who
Big Boo,
Big Boo has finally woken up. I just think it's genius writing, very funny. But the Blackadders were very funny, apart from the first series, which had moments but wasn't.
Yeah, that's true. The first series, they cast him as the snivelling idiot and Baldrick as the clever one, and then they just went, hang on a minute, let's do that. That's miles better. Yeah. It
was the introduction, of Ben Elton, wasn't it, I think?
Was it? Right?
I think
because it was only Richard Curtis and Rowan Atkinson.
He took a step back from the writing, didn't he? And,
Ben Elton came in for the second.
Very good. Okay, so my number 5 is Father Ted, and it is I Hear You're a Racist Now, Father Ted. It's not just that.
3.
Is that your number 3? Oh dear me! It's not just that whole point where everyone thinks he's a racist. It's the bit when there's that a fantastically square bit of black dirt on the window, and he's going, "That's physically impossible. How can there just be a square bit of black dirt?" And then the Chinese guy is coming up and he's looking at him through the window, and Father Ted is gesticulating and all this with this black bit just going perfectly over his top lip. And he's going, oh, look, he's just walking off now. He's walking off with his hand up in the air and it looks like he's doing Hitler. It was just so crazy, but it's just fantastic. Video playlist, watch it for that moment if you've never seen it.
I mean, all the sections where he gets caught being racist, it's just hilarious, isn't it? With the lampshade.
The lampshade. Again, you wouldn't be able to do that these days, would you? You wouldn't even be able to do that on the context of comedy these days.
Yeah,
because it would just be frowned upon, and you can't say things like that, you can't do things like that.
Yeah.
But and then he buys things from habit hat or something, doesn't he? And then he gets there and it's the other father's, all his Nazi stuff up on the wall.
She's decorated, like Mrs. Doyle has decorated the whole thing as well.
Yeah, and she's so pleased with herself that she's got it all done and all decorated, new curtains, and it's all swastikas everywhere. Oh,
I think there's a moment where Father Jack just is dressed in a Nazi uniform, gets out of the thing in the room, and they're in there, just walks off, and they're like, "What the hell?"
It's so good. It is
great.
so good.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my number 5. So, Rick, your number 4 then, please.
Okay, my number 4 is it's the IT crowd, and it's Renham suicide when he jumps out the window.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, it's really simple, straightforward, but this is all about Chris Morris's physical attributes and his acting and his physical comedy. Because if you think of anyone else, it's just, I mean, if anyone doesn't know, obviously there's a big board meeting. Renham sat at the front, and they're all chatting away, going, "Oh, we've made mega profits this year, haven't we? Yes, of course we have. It's brilliant." And they're all chatting away, and then his secretary comes in and goes, "Oh, excuse me, Mr. Renham, there's the police are here. There's some irregularities with the pension fund." He goes, "I see. Would you make them a cup of tea, please?" "Okay, thank you." And then he doesn't. There's no beat or pause. He just gets up immediately, walks to the window, and in one motion almost opens and jumps out.
Yeah.
He doesn't even. It's the way he jumps out slightly askew on an angle.
And he also his arms are right by his side.
His arms are right by
jump. He's just plop, like a lemming. Yeah.
It's absolute. It just gets me every time, and it's the perfect sort of ending to a character that's as bonkers as he is, and I just think it's brilliant. And then obviously, like you say, the genius move for that was to get Matt Berry in to replace him, and I just think it's brilliant. Yeah, it's
so
funny.
Good.
Chris Morris is a genius, and I miss him wholeheartedly. He needs to do something new.
Yeah.
Brass, the day-to-day and Brass Eye were just perfect. I wish he was around now to be doing that. There's so many people that deserve to be Chris Morris.
What is he doing? What does he do with himself?
Not a lot. He's got that awful skin condition, isn't he? So he doesn't come out so much now.
Yeah.
That's what I last read.
Very talented.
I mean, the fact that he started at a Bristol BBC, have you heard the story where they were reading the news and he was getting ready for his show, so he leaked all the helium into the BBC newsroom while they were reading it. So everybody listening on BBC Radio could hear the newsreader just getting higher and higher and higher.
Oh my God. He's so good.
He is a genius.
Absolute talent.
Yeah,
absolute
really
talent.
is, yeah.
Okay, so your number 4, Neil, was University Challenge with the young ones. My number 4 is Faulty Towers, and it is Finding the Light Switch. I don't know if you remember this bit. This is this cracking looking Australian woman, and she's just got there. She's looking for somewhere to eat. But unfortunately, her bathroom light isn't working, but she's just doing a bit of stretching, so she leans up against the wall, and then Basil Fawlty is leaning around to try and find the light switch, and is just tickling the nipple a little bit, and then that's, of course, when Sybil comes in, and she says, "Look, at least if you're going to grope a woman, at least have the decency to be in the same room as her." And it's just perfect comedy timing. It's fantastic, and I mean, she's a cracker. She's a real cracker, that woman.
All right, Frank Castle.
I feel like I need to watch this scene.
And I think isn't there a bit later on in it as well when he's got black paint and he again, like she ends up with like a yellow leotard on or something, and there's just a black mark around one of her boobs. So good, so good.
So good.
Okay then, Rick, your number 3 then, please.
Okay, my number 3, and I've slightly cheated here because I've gone for a whole episode.
Whole episode,
which is kind of cheating, but the reason is because it's Red Dwarf and it's Polymorph, and I just think I was
is that the backwards one? Is it? I can't remember which one that is. No.
Polymorph. So that was also very good, but this is the alien spoof one where it's on the ship, and I used to love it. I mean, the first 2 seasons were good. They were okay, but then 3 to 6, I think, was at the time some of the best comedy on TV. I thought it was amazing. And this one is just, if no one knows, it's like the Polymorph. It's just straight up Mickey take of Aliens. So there's this alien, and it's like what it does is instead of attacking you and killing you, it sucks out your emotions. So it just and it's almost a send up of horror movies in itself, because everyone sort of loses IQ points in a horror movie, like they run upstairs when they should run outside, and this just runs with it and goes, okay, well, we're going to take the anger from one character, the guilt from another, the vanity from another, and I think the what was it? It's anger, guilt, vanity, and fear. So basically, they're all over the place, and Lister just wants to go out and just twat it, like he says. Rimmer wants to do flyering and sing songs to it. The cat just wants to drink himself to death, and Crichton keeps like selling everyone out left, right, and centre. And it's just brilliant. It's just so funny, and all the way through, there's so many good moments. But I just thought I'd put that one in there as a whole thing. Yeah.
But you're quite right. It was one of those series that took a little steam to get going, but once it hit the ground, it did so running, didn't it? Did you like the newer Red Dwarfs when it was?
I really can't stand them. No, I just think that they've. When you talk about jumping the shark, I mean, it's just it did it a long time ago, and I don't. I mean, I get there's the nostalgia point of view, but it just the characters have just become caricatures of themselves, and it's not. I think actually there was 2 writers. It's a little bit like when Ben Elton joined Richard Curtis for Blackadder. This one lost a writer after season 6. And it was, I think it was Ed By, or was he's the director? I think, but one of anyone.
It was Naylor and.
That's right, Doug Naylor and Rob Grant. So Rob Grant left, and then Doug Naylor became the writer, and it just became a bit. He needs the other guy, I think. So yeah, but I just love that episode. I can watch it all the time and rewatch it all the time.
Yeah, never ever got into Red Dwarf.
It's funny.
No.
It's quite polarizing. It's quite a polarizing series.
Yeah, very strange. But okay, I'll have to see if we can get the whole episode on YouTube. I know it might just be clips, but we'll see what we can do. Right, Neil. So your number 3 was I'm a Racist Father, Ted. So my number 3 is Phoenix Nights. And it's somebody that we've met, Neil. You actually got a birthday message from him. It's Clinton Baptiste. And I'm getting a word, nonce. That whole section. And the look of horror on Peter Kay's face, on Brian Potter's face when he realises, oh no, what have I done by booking this? And it was, what was his nemesis?
Adverse. With the cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Slaps him on the thing, doesn't it? Great book in mind.
Because that's who recommended the booking, wasn't it? What was his name?
Oh God, I'm gonna have to look this up.
I know it was Ted.
Robin? No, not Robin.
Ted Robbins.
But
that wasn't the character's name, was it? That was the actor. And it was, oh God.
Because he's there from the opening episode, isn't he? When he recommends the racist folk band.
That's right.
Gets them to play that.
Sorry.
Oh, I can't even. I can't. Yeah. I can't find it. Yeah, I know exactly who you mean. Yeah, he sounds like a pub landlord. So,
he does.
Yeah.
Because he's there all the time, isn't he? Just antagonising Brian, and obviously sets fire to the club.
Yeah.
With a cigar, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a great moment. That is Clinton Baptiste.
Doesn't the guy jump up and start leathering him as well? He's just said it. He stands up and goes, "Wow."
Yeah,
don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger.
It's the big dramatic.
Den Perry.
Perry.
Yes.
But Clinton Baptiste, all that big dramatic opening, he comes out the smoke. You're right.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah,
just telling everybody everything they don't want to know. Yeah, so good, and fantastic live. We went and saw him last year.
Yeah,
it was last year.
He was absolutely fantastic live. So good. So
Brilliant.
Good. Very
highly recommend.
Very un-PC in certain parts, but
very
so good.
So I mean, a lot of it is scripted, but he's brilliant at taking it off script. Oh yeah, as well.
Absolutely.
He's so clever at the improvisation stuff.
Yeah, so good.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah,
so that was my number 3. So Rick, your number 2 was I've Got Cheese.
Yeah.
Alan Partridge. So Neil, what's your number 2?
Now, this might be cliched, but having spent the whole of lockdown watching all of Only Fools and Horses, it's the fall through the hatch in Yuppie Love. I think it's pure comedy gold. It is. The more you see it, and how David Jason stays so bloody straight in the fall, it's just fantastic. I mean, I spent the first lockdown. I got it off my mum and dad. They've got the complete box set of all of them. Watched them all in order. And just realized how bad the last episodes were. But that episode of Going Through the Hatch is a great episode. And that's when we sort of had a re-emergence of great Only Fools and Horses again, didn't we? So we had all those sort of classic episodes coming through.
Because they were that season they were like 45-minute episodes.
That's right, yeah.
Well, they really that's quite long for back then, I guess.
Yeah, they were like almost 6 specials. Because the episode after that, I think, was when he was trying to sell those wigs. And he had like the sex dolls that blew up.
Was that the episode? Yeah, it was the episode after
I think
that.
because there was like
was...
that was a massive like he went, oh no, my wigs are going bald, and all of a sudden like those sex started blowing up, and there was like all these women popping up behind the bar in there. Yeah.
And we also had the holiday episode, which I always talk about. It was in the same.
Oh, I think that's genius. That actually, yeah, where he's in the kids' club, isn't it?
That's it.
Basically, Rodney's just pretending to be a 15-year-old.
Yeah. So good. No, that is a good one. And I'm surprised. I mean, no one else has had it yet. I say.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 2 is Blackadder 2, and you mentioned it, I think, in the facts, Neil. It's Lord Flashheart. I mean, anything with Rick Mayall as Lord Flashheart, whether you class it in Blackadder Goes Forth, but in Blackadder 2
was the best.
Was without a shadow of doubt, he just stole the whole series just in his 5 minutes that he was on screen.
And that was the first episode of that series as well. Bells, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was just because it was with Bob, wasn't it?
Bob.
Oh, Bob, yeah. Oh, you just can't. I mean.
And if you watch it now, I never noticed it before, but you can actually see his moustache coming off.
Yes.
In the episode.
Oh, yeah, you can,
flaps. Yeah, it absolutely flaps. Yeah.
But I love the fact that he just carries on.
Yeah.
It just carries on with it.
Yeah, but it almost felt like he was a big special star guest in that. Obviously, as being a sort of a comedy legend from the young ones and stuff. But it was just, he just doesn't care. He's just totally going for it and being as Rick Mayall as you can. Because
I've read somewhere that a lot of that is improvised, about all the doing all of that was just Rick Mayall's improvisation.
Yeah. High nursey, firm and fruity. Oh, yeah.
But something's hit the mark when you go to, because I'm still at school when that came out, but everybody went to school the next day, and you had everybody down the sort of the corridor or wherever you are. All you could hear was time and time again.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be, for me, it used to be a thing. We'd watch it because it used to be on
Thursday nights.
That's right. Yeah. And the same as like Young Ones. Young Ones used to be, was it a Monday night or a Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Monday night, 9 o'clock, BBC Two. I'd watch it. Videotape it, Rick. No, videotapes. Videotapes were
well versed.
You youngsters, and then watch it. Like, get up early in the morning. Fuck doing homework. I wouldn't do that, but I'd get up early to watch the Young Ones again twice, so that I could go to school, and then you'd be able to recite it. Because if you could recite it, you was, oh my God, look, he knows how, everything that Rick says and stuff. And it was one of those things.
Yeah, no, recording it on tapes is like we did the same with Red Dwarf. We did the same with what else did we do? Can't remember now. There was loads anyway. There's loads of tape, and I used to miss the days of like you watch a series on tape and you start with the first one, then the second one, and the third one in, you sort of miss the start a bit. Because you just got back a bit too late, and it starts like 5 minutes in, and you always miss the start of one. It's funny.
It's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. Right then, before we reveal our number ones, let's have our rundowns, please. Rick, if you do your 10 to 2, Neil do the same, then I'll do the same, and then we'll reveal our number ones.
Sure thing. So my number 10 was The Inbetweeners. Number 9 was Black Books, the Cleaner episode. Number 8 was Father Ted, and it was Father Jack on AA, on Alcoholics Anonymous. And 7 was, I'm trying to find it. Where's my 7? Where was my 7 gone?
The Office.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, The Office. There it is. Okay. It's at the top. Couldn't find it, so it's The Office. And it's Gareth going on his bike. Number 6 was Blackadder, and it was Dr. Johnson with his dictionary. Number 5 was Phoenix Nights, Brian romancing Beverly. Number 4 was the IT Crowd, Renham jumping out the window. And number 3 was, and I've written on my notes all over the place, it was Red Dwarf, Marooned. Sorry, not Marooned, Polymorph. And then number 2 was Alan Partridge meeting Tony Hayes.
Lovely. Go on then, Neil. You're 10 to 2.
So number 10, I had Derek, twat. 9, Catterick, Kinky Boots. At number 8, League of Gentlemen, We Didn't Burn Him. At number 7, Faulty Towers, Goose Steps in the Germans. Number 6, Alan Partridge, I've Got Cheese. Number 5, Blackadder 2, Big Booze Up. Number 4, The Young Ones University Challenge. Number 3, Father Ted, Racist Ted at the Window. Number 2, Only Fools and Horses, Falling Through the Hatch. And that's it.
Thank you.
One.
My number 10 is the IT Crowd, Douglas Renham and his electric sex pants. 9 was Toast of London and Years. 8 was the Young Ones, University Challenge. 7, Some Mothers Do Have 'Em with the sofa. 6, This Country with Finger Up My Asshole. 5, Father Ted. I should have said Some Mothers Do Have 'Em. Hit it, Rick.
Oh,
That sounded a bit painful that time.
That sounded more like Finger Up My Asshole than it did like Some Mothers Do Have 'Em.
a combination of both of them.
5 was Father Ted, I Hear You're a Racist. 4, Faulty Towers, Finding the Light Switch. 3, Phoenix Nights and Clinton Baptiste. And 2, Blackadder 2, Lord Flashheart. So, Rick, what is your number 1 UK TV comedy moment?
Okay, so I did say I'd have 2 from one series, and it's Blackadder, and it's the end of Blackadder Goes Forth, Goodbye. And I know that this is a slightly tragic sort of ending, but honestly, I think we said before, like, there's a real fine line between comedy and tragedy, and it's that moment where you think, oh, he's going to get out of it. He's going to get out. It's Blackadder. He'll get out of it. It's fine. And then he tries all these different things. It doesn't work. And even Lord Melchett sends Darling to the front line because, it's just some warped sense of loyalty. You've been really good to me. I'm going to send you to glory. Well done. And then he arrives and he's like, and it just does the thing, obviously, of like, hello, darling. He arrived again. But yeah, I just think that, and I know it's like, it's not laugh out loud, haha, comedy moment, but in terms of an actual comedy to tackle something like that in the way it does, is really, really powerful, actually. And just the way they go over the top and then the slow motion and then it fades to the poppies and then it ends. And you just think, bloody hell, that was quite good for a comedy series. So I mean, yeah, I struggled, actually. I took it in, I took it out, and I thought, no, I think that deserves to be there. So yeah, that's
and it's got some ever so funny lines before the big push. Yeah. It's got some great comedy before it.
Yeah, thanks for bringing everything down, Rick. Thanks for really bringing the comedy down by talking about like mass death. Thank
I know, isn't it? Yeah, that's just how I roll.
But I mean, that was where the whole Wibble came from, wasn't it? Because he tried to be sort of signed out
pencils
by being
up the
mad,
nose.
Pencils up the nose and everything. Yeah, he tries his hardest. And even Baldrick, where he goes, "Oh, I've got a cunning plan." He goes, "Well, it's a bit too late now, Baldrick." And it's like that might have saved them. You never know. But it's just. You never found out what his cunning plan was either.
Well, because when they're waiting to go over the top, doesn't Baldrick say, "Core, look at that big splinter on the thing there. Someone could really hurt themselves with that."
Yeah. And then also, I think it's Hugh Laurie, isn't it? Where he goes, George, he goes, "Oh, don't forget your lieutenant's stick." And he goes, "Yep, wouldn't want to face a Nazi machine gun without this."
That's right.
That's it. So great funny moments. Moments of beauty as well in that episode.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that is the beauty of really good comedy, is it can, like say Ricky Gervais does it well, is it can turn you from laughing to just crying in a split second, and that's what that does with that show.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And plus the comedy moment before was me just losing my way in all of my lists because it was all over the place. So I kind of already got there, haven't I?
Go on then, Neil, your number 1, please. I think I know what it is.
I think you'll know what it is. It is Brian Potter's romance or trying to romance. It's the whole montage bit is just perfect. From, like Rick said, from the rose being told to fuck off, the bit when they're feeding the ducks in the when she has to push him out. I mean, it's all just genius. And that stair lift bit is the things I'm going to do to you, and the slow bit up. Because it all starts with that wonderful when he puts on Marvin Gaye, doesn't he?
That's right.
The music in his jukebox. But he asks her if she's got the money for the jukebox.
Yeah.
It's just genius. It really is genius. And I actually think the more I see Phoenix Nights now, the more I'm thinking it's one of the best sitcoms.
Oh, I actually think, definitely. Definitely.
It's just so funny. Yeah. And I really wish Peter Kay would let Channel 4 re-release it.
I know. It's crazy that it's not on any streaming services, is it?
Fortunately, I've still got it on DVD, so that's how I watch it. But
so have I. Yeah, I think it's. I couldn't agree more. I think it's hilarious, and I think
I do think the first series is the funnier of the two. If I was pushed. But they all have great moments. And then Max and Paddy was a bit hit and miss, but again, still had some great moments.
Yeah, and again, the outtakes in Max and Paddy are great as well. There's some really good outtakes in those. I love watching those kind of things. Okay, well done. My number 1 is Only Fools and Horses. It's not Dale falling through the bar. Again, could have had so many different Only Fools. I mean, Yellow Peril with the yellow walls of the Chinese takeaway, which is a great one. I could have also had I can't remember the name of the episode, but it was the poker one.
Yeah.
When Boise,
It's
got 4 aces. You got 4 aces. I can't believe you can count as well, Boise. And he tucks him up for loads of money. But it's going to be the chandelier drop, which for me is just so beautifully done and brilliantly written. And you don't even, I mean, thinking about it now, you think, well, it's obvious that that's what's going to happen. But I can remember watching that for the first time and just thinking, just the shock of it. You know, poor old granddad. And it's brilliantly cut together, so you think there's no problems at all. You know, brace yourself, Rodney. You know, brace yourself. Oh, it's just so good. It is so good. I
also like that episode where they were Batman and Robin. They were running through the smoke as well. I love that one. That's a great
Heroes,
moment.
That was another great one. Iconic.
Because they rock up at the wake, don't they?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because they've been told it had been fancy dress. It's just funny in itself. Because they say it's the bit when they say to Trigger, isn't it? I wish we'd known it's fancy dress, and he goes, "What? It's not fancy dress." And he's all in a black suit and tie. Just genius.
So we have got some honourable mentions. Let me just go through these. Karen Clark said Del Boy falling through the bar and only fools and horses. Nancy Trickell says Monty Python, The Argument. Monty Python, Ministry of Silly Walks. Abfab, Adina comes home drunk from a cab. Abfab, La Croix Sweetie. I don't know much about Abfab, so I'm not sure exactly what that is. Miranda, Tuesday as well. Now, that was when she's going. I'm not a big fan of Miranda either, but she's trying to. There's a recorded voice message, and she's trying to say these words. And Tuesday, I did look that one up. Mary Walker James, Victoria Wood, and Julie Walters in their shoe shop sketch. Flatter now, so I've never seen that, so I don't know. At MPG_1980 said way too many, but off the top of my head, Peep Show in Turkey. Father Ted explaining perspective to Douglas using sheep.
Yeah, that's genius.
Phoenix
It's
Knight.
cows, isn't it? Not sheep.
It was cows. Yes. These are very small, but those are very far away.
That's it.
Phoenix Knights, Brian stuck on the chairlift. You must have shit yourself. League of Gentlemen, any scene with Mr. Chinnery, the vet. And Del Boy falling through the bar is an all-time great. At Good, the Bad, and the Good, the Bad, and the Dudley, the ones that jump to mind this country. T is for tomato. In Betweeners, thanks Phil. Alan Partridge, Goldfinger. Cuckoo, Ken and Cuckoo Dance. Never watched Cuckoo. I think you guys watched Cuckoo.
Greg Davis, isn't it?
That is Greg Davis. Yeah.
No.
It was. It was.
Oh, hang on.
Taylor Lautner, wasn't it, to start with, or Andy Samberg?
One of
Andy Samberg was in the first series, wasn't he? I think.
Was it?
Taylor Lautner, yeah.
And then it was Taylor Lautner season after.
No, the only one I saw of his sitcoms was Man Down, and that was funny.
That was funny. Rick Mail again. He said, "My family, innocent pedestrians." Now, I honestly can't believe there's anything funny in my family. I don't know. Maybe there is.
I know what you mean by
that. Peep Show, Chance would be a fine thing. Gavin and Stacey, Islands in the Stream. Vicar of Dibley, the Easter Bunny reveal. Fresh Meat, Howard and Sabine. The Office, start of Series 2. Now I was trying to think what happened in the start of Series 2 of The Office.
Don't ask me.
It's quite generic, though, isn't it?
I mean, that is. I mean, how much of the start? Is it just the opening credits? You'll have to let us know, Doug, on that one. And he says, can't wait to hear this one, guys. Thank you very much, Doug. We will be speaking to you in the next few weeks. Maria Pereira says, the IT crowd Peter File conversation and Jen's dinner party, which is great. Also, IT Crowd Series 2, Episode 1, the workout in. Honestly, the whole episode, but especially Roy using the wrong toilet, Moss being mistaken for a theatre employee. I'm not doing it justice. It's absolutely hilarious in the most awkward way. So there you go. So thank you very much. We've done it.
Yes, thank you.
We've done it, Rick.
Yeah.
We've now worked out that Rick now will be on Britain's Got Talent for his fantastic impersonation.
You can have a double act of impressions.
Of Frank Spence.
After having watched Britain's Got Talent recently, I think I'll probably win it.
I think you probably will.
Probably.
I think all we need to have is like you one side of the stage, me the other side. You go in.
Ooh.
Yes.
And that's it.
And that's it.
You have to sample that and make a dance track now.
What they need to do is they need to do a male sex robot. And they have that as the voices. They have Rick going, ooh, and me going, yes. And that's it. We'll make a fortune, Rick. We'll split it 50-50.
We'll make 50 series of it, yeah?
We'll make 50 series of it, absolutely. Absolutely. Right, before we say our goodbyes, Neil, do you want to tell everybody how they can get in touch and all that gubbins?
Absolutely. So get in touch with us via email us at toptenpods@hotmail.com. Do please follow us and give us a like, give us a click on all social media platforms at Top 10 Pods. Please also, if you'd like to, come and help support the podcast at patreon.com/Top 10 Pods, where there's all sorts of rewards. Check out all the links via the link tree. You can find the link in the show notes. And do please give us some feedback. Leave us some ratings and reviews. We'd love to hear from you, and come and subscribe wherever you can.
Wonderful. And like Neil said, please go to Apple Podcasts, and if you could leave us a review, 5 stars, obviously. I mean, anything less than that, what's the point? It would be wonderful. If you could do that for us, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much. Rick, thank you so much for joining us, mate. An absolute legend.
Yeah, pleasure as always. Thank you.
Absolute legend. Thank you so much for your support as well. And we shall work out trying to get little balls. Well, I mean, not saying I haven't already got little balls, but you know, little. What am I trying to say? Hat-trick balls for the people that have joined us 3 times, which you are now part of that club. So thank you.
I'm very honoured. Thank you.
And next time, work out. I mean, well, could we do US comedy moments?
I sure we could. Yeah, hopefully, I might struggle to get 10.
Yeah. Unless,
different ones. The Office.
That'll be unless you can think of anything else, Rick. But please come back and join us again.
I will.
And then we'll have some more fun and try and work out a new impersonation for us. That'd be great.
This one's not good enough. What are you talking about?
No. I mean, I'm not saying that. But I mean,
that one's perfect.
I mean, you know, it might be nice for something else to add to your repertoire. You know, you can't keep churning out the same old one, can you? Anyway, Neil, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Pav. Thank you very much, Rick. Always a pleasure to see you, sir.
Yes.
Nice one. Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. And let's start the countdown. Rick?
Oh.
10,